What it is, Commander Shepard's Peace and Grease here, and I have finally finished Mass Effect 2 Legendary Edition. I've done all the DLC, all the side content, everything you can do in this game, and I'm sitting at about 60 hours. Now, I'm a little disappointed that BioWare didn't do more with the improvements to Mass Effect 2. I would have really liked to have seen some of these trickle-down improvements from Mass Effect 1 Legendary Edition to 2 Legendary Edition. For example, class-specific weapons. If you weren't aware, originally in Mass Effect 1, when you chose a class for your Shepard, you were locked into only using a certain type of weapons. Now, you could potentially use others, maybe perhaps you didn't get a reticle or couldn't aim down sights. BioWare did away with that in Mass Effect 1 Legendary Edition, and I think it was a very good improvement. And I would have liked to have seen that applied to Mass Effect 2, because unfortunately that still exists in Mass Effect 2. Even if you import a Shepard from Mass Effect 1 Legendary to 2 Legendary, as soon as you choose a class, you're locked into a certain type of weapon. Now the defense of this is going to be, well, as you progress through the game, you can learn another weapon. And that is true. That is absolutely accurate. However, that's not until about 3/4 of the way through the game. You're getting almost completely through the game before you can finally learn one new weapon. Let's take, for example, a Vanguard. If you choose the Vanguard class, you can use pistols, submachine guns, and shotguns. Now, what all of these weapons have in common is that there's no long-range weapon here. And let's look at the very first mission on Omega that you go to retrieve Morgan Solus. Numerous times throughout that mission, you will find enemies in elevated positions that you can't reach with biotic charge. This leaves you in cover, useless, desperately trying to direct your squad mates to take out these enemies in elevated range positions. Now, removing those class-specific weapons would have been a big improvement here as well. But sadly, it didn't happen. Another area where I would have liked to have seen some trickle-down improvements is with the vehicles. In Mass Effect 1 Legendary, the Mako got improvements. I would have really liked to have seen those improvements make their way to the Hammerhead in Mass Effect 2. Now, while it's subjective, I personally feel that the Hammerhead is a much, much worse vehicle than the Mako. In fact, that vehicle single-handedly ruined Project Overlord for me. Now, don't misunderstand me. Project Overlord, the characters, the storytelling, the writing, the voice acting, the music, all of these things were fantastic. But because you're required to use that vehicle through the majority of that DLC, it just ruins it. Every time I start Project Overlord, I dread it. So, while I would have liked to have seen improvements on the Hammerhead, it doesn't seem as if that happened. You know, in minor complaint, a fish feeder. We had one in Mass Effect 3. That would have been nice to import it to Mass Effect 2 to remove some of that tedium. Because if you don't remember to feed your fish after every other mission, you're going to come back to dead fish, which means you're having to buy them over and over again. Now, if you happen to flirt and have dinner with Kelly Chambers, your yeoman, she will offer to take care of your fish. So that does resolve it to an extent, but again, that's not till the end of the game. Which, coincidentally, you're also going to want to flirt and have dinner with Kelly Chambers, because that's going to bring her back in Mass Effect 3, at least if you save her in the collector vessel. But that would have helped reduce some of that frustration with the fish system. Now, an area that they did improve were some of the graphical properties in Mass Effect 2. There's a little bit better fit and finish and look to the game. Some of the meshing and lighting and does look much, well, I can't say much better, but it does look improved. Don't expect a night and day difference between an original game and the Legendary Edition because it's a very subtle improvement, to say the least. But really, that's about the majority of the improvements you're going to see. Ah, yes. Don't let me forget that they fixed Miranda Lawson's butt. Now, I know you're waiting for a punchline, but I'm being sincere. They literally devoted man-hours and time, personnel, to fixing Miranda's butt. Well, fixing isn't the right word. What's the word I'm looking for? Ah, remove. That's it. They removed Miranda's butt. Now, do I really care about a fictional character's butt? No. What this does show is poor decision making, poor time management on BioWare's part. They could have used that time and personnel to actually fix things and improve things with Mass Effect 2 rather than trying to make some kind of statement with this game.
We're about to clear the debris field.
Now, here, does any of this negatively impact Mass Effect 2? No. Mass Effect 2 has always been a great game, and it is still a great game. If you loved Mass Effect 2 before, you're more than likely going to love Mass Effect 2 now. Now, my personal rating previously, before the Legendary Edition, was Mass Effect 2 was my favorite, followed by Mass Effect 1, and finally Mass Effect 3. Not that Mass Effect 3 was a bad game, just that, as I always say, it was 95% a great game. That last 5% of the ending just really brought it down to its knees. It'll be kind of interesting to see if those ratings are shuffled when I finish Mass Effect 3. Now, we're going to talk about everything in Mass Effect 3, the endings, the whole 9 yards, once we get to that game. But I'm not quite there yet. I got to say that I'm getting pretty tired. After complete playthroughs on Mass Effect 1 and now 2, yeah, I'm starting to get a little tired. But I'm going to keep grinding through Mass Effect 3 Legendary Edition to kind of bring you everything that I'm noticing. But with all that being said, let me know what you guys and gals think down in the comment section below. What is your favorite game in the Mass Effect trilogy? And until next time, peace out.
Look out!
Mass Effect field generators are offline. EDI, give me something!
Generators unresponsive. All hands for impact.
Joker, you okay?
I think I broke a rib. Or all of them.
Multiple core systems overloaded during the crash. Restoring operation will take time.
We all knew this was likely a one-way trip.
I'll do whatever it takes to stop the collectors, but I plan to live to tell about it.
I'm glad you're in charge. What's next?
How long until the collectors find this landing zone?
I do not detect an internal security network. It is possible the collectors did not expect anyone to reach the base.
Well, if we're lucky, their external sensors were hid like we were. They might not know we're alive.
This isn't how we planned this mission, but this is where we're